and we're never doing that again.
Don't sleep. Don't sleep, baby. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 76. That's 76 of the Good Point Bro podcast. My name is Kay, and this is my other bro, Cam.
Don't sleep.
Don't sleep, baby. Hope everyone had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, but we're getting right into sports talk.
We did not have a Happy New Year.
Well, I guess we'll start there.
Yeah, we'll start there. Congrats to Michigan. I'll say that. I'm so happy with the season Alabama had. If you look at when we lost to Texas, everybody was saying we were garbage. We were never going to do anything. We won out and took Michigan to overtime, who was undefeated all year, dominated the Big Ten. So,
what more can you say, really?
At the 3-yard line to tie the game, so sometimes you just lose. The one thing I will say about that game that I was surprised, and I'll give credit to Michigan, was after the Georgia game, I just didn't think we would get out-physicaled on the line of scrimmage, and they definitely out-physicaled us.
Yeah, Michigan beat the crap out of us in the trenches,
offensive
bro.
Line, yeah.
In the trenches, we just got destroyed. Yeah. There's a couple of big plays that helped us be in the game in the first place. The only thing that disappoints me is that we're up 20-13 and have multiple tries in the fourth quarter to go up 2 scores. And if you do that, the game's over. Because let's be honest, their offense looked trash.
Oh yeah, they're off.
They didn't score for 32 game time minutes.
It was a bad game all around. The Texas-Washington game looked a lot more pure and quick and all that. But I will say this: McLaughlin, that's the center's name, McLaughlin.
Yeah,
he's just entered the transfer portal.
Yeah.
So
praise be to God.
You know what that reminds me of when Stephen A. Smith was talking about how the Lakers traded Kwame Brown.
Brown.
And he was like, they should throw a parade already in the city, even if they don't win the championship. You got rid of Kwame Brown. He's got small hands. He can't catch the ball.
Yeah. He's a certified
scrub. He can't put a play to memory to use in the post.
This man is a certified scrub.
That was rough.
I'm going to start saying certified scrub.
He's got small hands. He can't catch the ball. That was my favorite. But, yeah, I think Bama should throw a parade that guy's entering the transfer portal because he literally cost us the game.
Yeah. Dude, I think people forget old Stephen A. Smith, bro.
Yeah. Well, old First Take is awesome.
Kwame Brown.
Old First Take is like a heated podcast. Like, it was pretty unfiltered back in the day.
Dude.
Like, you could say whatever
old
you
Stephen
want.
A., bro, was on.
Old Skip, too.
Skip, too, for sure. But Stephen A., bro, stay off the weed.
No, I mean, he still does that.
Yeah, but it's just not the same, really.
It's just because it's not the same because he doesn't have Skip.
I don't know, but he doesn't really go hard on people like he did Kwame anymore.
I mean,
he just went off
he just went off on the Dolphins. What are you talking about?
It's a travesty that I even know your name.
Well, Stephen A. is a Bama homer, which is awesome. He spoke at Bama twice. He loves Saban and all that.
How could you not?
Yeah.
But yeah, Michigan beat Alabama.
Yeah.
It's part of it, part of the game.
Yeah.
I've seen Bama win 6 titles since I was 8 years old, so.
Michigan can have one, and they ain't winning it this year anyways.
They probably are, but we'll get into that in a minute. All right, Michael Penix obviously played the game of his life.
We're struggling talking right now.
Yeah, I know our syllables. What is it?
Well,
Peter Piper picked a peck of
I think
pickled
it's
peppers.
because
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers.
All right.
But yeah, Michael Penix had the game of his life against Texas. Obviously, was absolutely remarkable in that game, throwing dots left and right, 2 tutties, as I said earlier. But yeah, dude was remarkable and well deserved on Washington's part. The only reason the game was close is just college football.
My thing is
that don't happen in the NFL.
Why is he not getting recognized as he could be the number 1 pick? I don't understand. Like, what does Caleb Williams do that's so much better than Penix? Like, Penix's pocket presence is insane. He's arguably the most accurate quarterback in college football. He's had a great year. He's tall, big, can run. Like, I don't see how he's not projectable to be the number 1 pick. That's what I don't understand about college football. Or just actually drafting in general. Like, why is Drake May better than Michael Penix? Why is he like why
Drake
are him
May
and
is
Caleb
not better.
I know, yeah, but he's
For
projected higher.
I know he's projected number 2.
Yeah, it makes no sense to me. Is this just going to be another
because
Deshaun Watson was drafted at 15 after he was the best college quarterback for 2 years.
Patrick Mahomes was drafted at 8.
I know, but I'm saying like Deshaun Watson, we saw with our eyes he's great. And before all the hotel stuff or whatever, the massage, the happy endings, he was he was a great quarterback, top 5 in the league. And he was great in college and dropped all the way to number 15. I don't get it. Sometimes I feel like scouts, they overthink these things. What my eyes tell me is that Michael Penix is the best quarterback in the country right now. That's what my eyes tell me. So why is he not like in contention for being the number 1 pick? Makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
Like Caleb Williams had a bad year.
Michael Penix is in a similar situation to Bo Nix, though.
And
He's
it
one of
seems
those
like
COVID
Michael
guys.
Penix is a leader. Like Caleb Williams, like you were saying, his teammates hate him.
Yeah, he does have some minor, character flaws, I would say, I guess, as far as reporting goes. But Michael Penix, like I was saying a second ago, he's been there for years, bro.
That goes a long way.
He's a COVID player. He's like a Bo Nix type of guy.
I know.
So I think that's kind of why his projection is a little bit lower, is because maybe he's just a guy that's been there.
How stupid is that?
Like
how
Bo
dumb?
Nix,
But how dumb is that? That like, it's like recruiting nowadays in high school. Like these colleges try to get dudes that are like 12 years old, and then the guy who's a late bloomer who's 18, 19. He can't go Division I anymore because all their slots are taken up. So then he goes JUCO. They get the guy who they signed at 12. He goes JUCO, plays for 2 years. The other guy sits on the bench. Then he transfers to like Alabama, and then he plays because he's gotten reps.
Yeah,
it's
no,
kind
I mean,
of their sports are. I feel like they're missing out on some guys just because. Well, yeah, Caleb Williams is so projectable. He's younger. He's got all these measurables. But when you just watch them play, nothing tells me Caleb Williams is better than Michael Penix.
And based on that divisional game, sure.
No, all year.
No,
all year he was way better than Williams.
Well,
Dude,
then,
Williams
then
had a
watch
rough
watch
year.
the better of the 2 years. Then watch last year.
Yeah, he was good.
And tell
he
me
also
that
had
dude
good
is
weapons.
But what I hate is all these scouts are just trying to find the next this, the next that. This is the next guy for the next century, all team. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. This is him, Joe Burrow, and it's just ridiculous to me because then they end up coming to the conclusion of Drake May's him. Like Drake May's another, and I mean Drake May, you might be good. I don't know, but to me, the way Sam Howell was late though, he didn't go top.
Oh,
but I'm saying Drake May.
No.
Yeah, Mitch Trubisky is Zach Wilson.
Yeah,
where these guys just get propped up right at as their senior year goes, or even just towards the end of the year, and they end up going as the second QB overall because they're super projectable and only got to play a season. And then
it's always a white, stocky guy after like some phenomenal athlete like Caleb Williams goes number 2.
Except for C.J. Stroud.
And C.J. Stroud's a beast. But I can actually see why Bryce was the number 1 pick that year. And I'm not just saying that because of Bama bias. Like, he had no measurables. They just picked him purely off eye test.
Yeah. And last year, who was it? So they had the guy that fell was Will Levis, who might be decent.
Yeah. He's definitely, he is a competitor.
At Tennessee. Yeah,
he definitely is a competitor.
Definitely likes to compete.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that is huge. And I see that with Michael Penix. I don't see that with Williams, bro. I see that. I think he likes to. I think he's a competitor, but like, I think that it means something. Like we were saying, Penix has been there for a long time. Look what Penix has created in Washington. Look at that. Like he's in the national championship and he has a great chance
for a while though.
Yeah, but I'm saying look at but Washington can never get over that hump. Washington was in the playoff in 16 and got destroyed by Alabama.
Yeah, I mean if they end up winning,
Washington was a team that could just get there. They weren't, but Michael Penix is a quarterback that can take them over the hump and possibly win a natty.
Yeah, I mean Michael.
I'm just saying, I just think he has shown good qualities, and I don't know why he's not. And it's not just leadership. Like the dude can flat out play. Yeah. I don't know if there's another accurate quarterback.
Yeah, I think that you have a point that these analysts just try to overanalyze, bro. They try to be like, I'm the guy that predicted Drake May was going to be this.
But Caleb Williams has been the number 1 pick since last year. Why?
Bryce Young was very similar. And then he wasn't as good the second year. C.J. Stroud was great.
I know, but
and then Caleb Williams won the Heisman, and Bryce Young still goes.
But they said Caleb Williams would have been the number 1 pick even in last year's draft. People were saying.
I guess because he's just so projectable.
I know, but I'm saying why can't things change? Why can't we look at this year and be like, yo, the way Penix has been playing,
prospect. I still think he's the best prospect.
Maybe.
I think he's the best prospect. Caleb Williams.
Just because we had a Pat Mahomes in the league. If it wasn't for Patrick Mahomes, would he be the best prospect? If it wasn't for Patrick Mahomes,
probably
because
he's incredibly mobile.
That's who everybody compares him to.
I think his IQ is higher than Penix. I think his arm.
His IQ is higher than Penix.
I think so.
How?
What do you mean how?
Like IQ,
How much
like
USC
decision
games
making.
did you watch?
Like decision making.
How much did you watch?
Dude, he threw way more picks than
His
Penix this
line
year.
was trash. It was terrible.
Penix line isn't good either.
Penix had some time back there this time. I mean,
Not
obviously,
against Texas.
his movement in the pocket was good.
It was phenomenal.
But I've seen Caleb Williams do that all year. And he did that last year.
I will say this, though. How about this?
And Caleb Williams can throw
remember
freaking bombs.
C.J. Stroud had a insane game against Georgia in the semifinal last year. And there was a little bit, like a little community of people saying he should have been the number one pick over Bryce. Now, I think it's a little bit too early to tell with them two, even though Stroud had an amazing year. I just think the Texans are a way better football team, so we'll just see how Bryce does as the Panthers get better. But I think that Stroud and Penix are very similar, and I'll tell you what, because they're very similar quarterbacks. They're kind of tall, good builds, not like crazy athletic, but they can move, and they're insanely athletic. Like Stroud was the best passer in that draft, and then Bryce was like the point guard, all that good stuff. But I think Penix and Stroud are super similar, like prospects, and they both had a crazy semifinal game. Penix won, but
you know who Penix, like, besides being left-handed, is still a lot like Tua, though?
Gunslinger.
Yeah, he can just run better, but Tua ran like that before his hip injury.
But way
too.
bigger, way better build.
Taller.
Like 6'3".
Tua now is a
220.
chunk, dude.
Yeah, but
yeah, he's
taller.
Let's go into this a little bit. Any natty predictions? So we got Michigan and Washington, obviously.
I mean, I get why Michigan's favored just because they're so physically dominant, but I think Penix is that type of guy where he's a Deshaun Watson, Cam Newton, and he's just going to will his team to win. I think he's going to have another, like, 350 pass yard game, 3 touchdowns or more. Just absolutely incredible performance. The dude does not fear anything. And I just think the biggest weakness for Michigan this year has been the secondary. Penix is not going to be like Milroe. First of all, they're going to have better snaps. And Penix is not going to be like Milroe and just panic every time he sees that pressure. He's not going to tuck. He's going to be able to roll out, step in the pocket when he needs to. He's going to make the good throws. And I just think he's going to be able to eat up their secondary.
Yeah.
So I got Washington. What do you got?
For me, I'm going to take Michigan in this game. I just think that this. Michigan was able to slow down our offense, which obviously is not nearly as explosive as Washington. But if they slow down Washington in the same way, I don't think that Washington's defense is able to slow down Michigan the way that ours was. Michigan had 13 points for 32 minutes of game time against Alabama and didn't score until there was 1:40 left. I don't see Washington doing something like that if their offense struggles throughout the game against obviously a super deep and athletic Michigan defense.
Yeah.
So for me, I think Harbaugh finally figured it out, and it might have taken some camcorders to do so, but I think this is the year.
My thing is that Michigan's biggest weakness is their secondary. They're going to dominate the line of scrimmage. So did Texas. Texas' best thing was the line of scrimmage the whole year. They got pressure on Penix the whole game. It didn't matter. That's how I see. I think Penix is just going to deal.
Now, their secondary is not as good as Michigan's, though. Texas.
No, Texas is one of the worst in the country.
Yeah.
I'm saying Michigan's biggest weakness. They don't have many, but their biggest is their secondary. Not saying
Texas,
it's bad. No, Texas. What I'm saying is Texas has one of the worst secondaries in college football. They're like 95th. I'm saying Michigan's isn't necessarily bad. I'm saying
it's just
their biggest weakness. If you're going to exploit them, it's going to be in the pass game, and who better to do that than Michael Penix?
I like it. All right, let's go over here. So, super, super high stakes game for my boys in Miami and the Buffalo Bills. Give me the Miami Dolphins. Give me the Miami Dolphins to win this game. I know a lot of people don't believe in them.
Basis?
Josh Allen's been amazing. He's been so good against the Miami Dolphins. I don't care, bro. It's about time that they stepped up. I know they're hurt. I know Waddle's waddling. But give me
They're all
Miami
waddling.
To his arm. It's not his legs.
Yeah.
His legs are fine. So
He's throwing shoulder. Right?
Tyreek Hill's going to show why he should be MVP for this season.
I heard
this
Stephen
game
A.
against the
saying he was
Buffalo
dropping
Bills.
touchdown passes.
Yeah, I told you that.
You can't be MVP for dropping touchdown passes.
I told you that's why the Ravens.
I
game
got
out
the
of hand.
Bills. And the Bill. Look, I look at the AFC like this. There's 3 teams that can win the AFC. It's the Ravens, the Chiefs, and the Bills. The Bills are going to win this game. They're going to be the 2 seed, and I see them possibly making a deep run and winning the AFC this year.
Well, if
you're
right, if the Bills do win,
they're so tough, and the Bills play up and down who they're playing. and as a fact.
Yeah,
so
but
obviously
here's
in the
thing.
playoffs they're going to be playing great competition, and when they play great competition, they're just a totally different team. Totally different team.
If
Destroyed
the
the
Bills do
Dolphins.
win-
They destroyed the Dolphins 40-20. They destroyed the Cowboys, and they're about to destroy the Dolphins again. And they beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead this year. The Bills just every time they play someone, the Dolphins and the Bills have the opposite problem. Every time
And the
the
Cowboys.
Dolphins play under 500, they look like the worst team
Except
in the
for
NFL.
the Cowboys.
When the Bills play someone over 500, they're the best team in the NFL. So I got the Bills winning the division. They're the 2 seed.
Well, that's why the
Let's go.
Dolphins Cowboys game was so close because the Cowboys are so bad on the road.
Yeah.
The Dolphins are so bad against over 500 teams,
Yeah.
and they just clashed until the Dolphins won by 2. But let me
I
finish this
can't
first.
hear them.
If you're right and the Buffalo Bills do win this game, which is what I've been trying to say, if the Buffalo Bills do win this game and they're the 2 seed, nobody plays well in Buffalo in the playoffs. Man, it's freezing
besides
cold.
the GOAT.
Besides, yeah,
Pat
I mean
Mahomes.
that semifinal was obviously.
No, that
AFC
was an
semis.
Arrowhead. But the year before, it was in
That's what I'm
Buffalo.
talking about.
You're talking about the year before
When they went to
crushed them?
overtime, that was in Buffalo.
No, that was in Arrowhead.
Are you sure?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Oh.
The year before was in Buffalo, and they crushed them. Remember?
Well, either way, Buffalo is obviously insane in the playoffs when they're at home. So I could see them win the AFC if that's the case, even though their last game would, in theory, have to be against Baltimore in Baltimore. I still think that they
Didn't
might
they lose to
be
the
able to pull
Bengals
that
at
off.
home last year? Is that at home? Right?
The Bengals were Chiefs were 1, but Bills were 2, and Bengals were 3.
So, yeah, they lost at home against the Bengals last year.
Last year was a problem because they gave up 30 to the Dolphins with freaking whatever his name was at QB, that white dude.
Who's winning the AFC this year?
For most of the season, I was saying that whoever gets the 1 seed is winning the AFC. And I'll say this. I don't want to bring out my predictions yet, but if the Bills win and they're the 2 seed, they're probably my pick to win the AFC this year. I just think that's so much momentum going into the postseason.
Yeah, you win like 6 straight games. You're 6-6, and then you end. So you won 5 straight to end the year.
So, but
The Chiefs are going to win the AFC. They still. I don't know about this, but I heard they still got. Sorry, I don't know about this, but I still know they have a guy called Patrick Mahomes on the team, Travis Kelce on the team, and Andy Reid as their coach. And as long as they have those 3 guys, like the Trinity,
Oh yeah.
they're going to be in the AFC Championship game. I don't want to get too ahead on the Ravens yet because I know they're going to be the 1 seed. They're going to have home field. Lamar Jackson has 0 playoff success. You're telling me you get the Chiefs and Pat Mahomes go to the Ravens Stadium and you're not picking them to win that game?
No, I'm not.
In the playoffs?
No.
You're not.
No.
On the basis of what?
On the basis of Baltimore has been dominant all year.
Yeah,
and
but they don't win in the playoffs.
And more importantly, the Chiefs have been the opposite of dominant.
Okay.
They've been dominated. They've been
What's the difference between this year and when they went 14-2 when Lamar won MVP in 2019? What's the difference? They dominated everybody in the regular season, and then they were atrocious in the playoffs.
Who'd they lose to in
The
the playoffs?
same thing's going to happen to the Chiefs.
Who'd they lose to in the playoffs that year?
Who was it?
I don't know.
The Dolphins?
No.
Oh.
Dolphins haven't won a playoff game in forever.
It was somebody like not that good, right? Because it was the first round and they
What
were the
year was
1
this?
seed. 2019.
This
I don't
was
think it was the
Lamar's
Chiefs.
MVP.
MVP year, yeah. I'm the Ravens could go to the Super Bowl, but I'm just not going to trust them over Pat Mahomes, who has a ton of experience, won 2 Super Bowls, and Andy Reid. Like, I'm just not going to do that.
Well, it wasn't the Bills or the Texans. Titans, New England.
I think it was the Titans, right?
What? Oh, was that when Derrick Henry had that year?
I think it was the
The
Titans.
Cinderella year?
It was the Titans. Yeah. And the Titans beat them, like destroyed them. Look up Titans Ravens playoff game.
To pursue 20-13. Is that just the last time they played? Oh, the last time they played in the wild card was Lamar's only win in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to 2019. That's not 2019 because they were 14-2 that year when Lamar won MVP.
I was trying to look up the 2019.
Look up Ravens playoff game 2019. What do you?
I'm just gonna look up the whole playoffs and then go to it. But go ahead. Just keep going.
I'm just waiting on this.
Oh, yeah, 28-12, Titans.
I'm glad I remember that. Yeah, they got smoked. Now, I know that was Derrick Henry's Cinderella year, whatever you want to call it, but I don't care where the Chiefs play. I'm going to trust them more in the playoffs with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes.
Derrick Henry had 30 carries for 195 yards.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what they did to him? What Bama did to him in 2015? Remember how many carries he would get on that 2015 Bama team?
And he had a passing touchdown.
Yeah. Derrick Henry would have like 40 carries for 250, like 4 straight games in 2015.
Let's reminisce
They
over
can
that.
just abuse him.
I think that's a great point. If I could go back to any time in recent memory in the NFL, it might be the Titans Cinderella run.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
They dominated.
Derrick Henry was just insane.
They dominated the Patriots. Then they dominated the Ravens. And then they lost to the Chiefs.
Yeah, they lost to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And if any
But
player,
almost
I know
beat
they
the
don't
Chiefs.
like playing running backs. They don't like to play, or not play. They don't like to pay running backs right now. But if anybody was worth it,
Oh, Derrick Henry.
it was Derrick Henry.
He almost won you.
Because
got
Ryan
you to a Super
Tannehill is
Bowl.
ball sack.
He almost got you to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, by himself.
He actually made Ryan Tannehill get a contract.
Like, we just looked it up. Literally against the Ravens, he ran for 195 and had a passing touchdown.
He made Ryan Tannehill $200 million or whatever he got.
Okay, because
From the
Ryan Tannehill
Titans.
had this weird stretch of
I know.
16 games between 2 seasons where he had the same stats as Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, he's the most underrated QB
I know.
in the NFL.
I know. I had a Titans. One of my baseball teammates was a Titans fan and would always point that
Argue
out.
that? Yeah.
I'd be like, stop. He would say that he's better than Lamar.
Yeah. Huge implications because, as we were saying before, the Bills get the 2 seed if they win this game. If they lose this game, it's not far-fetched to say they miss the playoffs. They could obviously still make it. There's a lot of things that have to happen. But the Bills have to play like we control our own destiny, and we have to win this game to make
That's
it.
another reason why the Bills
It's a
are gonna
playoff
win.
game for them.
Yeah, and the Dolphins can afford to lose. So that's why another reason why I think the Bills are going to win.
But the
'Cause
Dolphins,
the Bills are playing with
the
nothing
Dolphins
to lose.
have to be at home. You have to get a home playoff game.
Oh, yeah.
Like if the Dolphins lose,
I don't look at the Dolphins with any seriousness. Like I just don't. Like I don't even think about home away. I just don't see them making a run
I'm
because
so excited for this weekend, bro.
they're a great offense, but not when they play these good teams. They turn into a not good offense. Like we can say they're an explosive offense, but every time they play an explosive team, that offense dwindles. So I don't know who they really are. They just beat up on the little sisters of the poor.
It was just earlier in the season we were looking at them as this is the best offense we've seen in 5 decades. They dropped 70 on the freaking Denver Broncos, 70-20, and everybody was just sold that they were that team.
Same thing last year.
And
Started
maybe
off
they are
great.
when they're healthy. Maybe they are when they're healthy, but they haven't been. So,
So, you know, everybody's hurt right now, dude. Every NFL
and that
team's
Broncos
hurt.
defense was one of the worst in 50 years at the time.
Yeah. But then they completely flipped.
Yeah, they've gotten better. My boy Pat Surtain down there started locking it down. But yeah, man, I don't know. Is Russell Wilson that bad? Is Russell Wilson a certified
I think
screw?
Russell, obviously, when you look at his stats, he's 24-8. I think it's just when you watch the games, you're like, he's not good. It's just
You know what it's like? It's like
Ryan
when
Tannehill. That's what it is.
No. Ryan Tannehill's stats are terrible.
I'm saying in that 16-game stretch, they were
Yeah,
super,
but if you
super
look at
good.
his season stats, they're trash.
I know, but I'm just
But
saying, if you
it's
look at
because-
24-8, if you look,
No, I
look
have
at
a
all
way
the
better
look at
example
all
than
the
that.
other quarterback stats this year, 24-8, it's really, really good.
I have a way better example than that. When the Indianapolis Colts missed the playoffs 2 years ago, and then they needed to get Anthony Richardson and all that, they had Carson Wentz, who had, if you statistically look, he threw for over 3,000 yards, had like 28 touchdowns and like 10 picks. But if you watch the games, especially when they needed 2 games to make the playoffs, he lost both, and they were basically his fault.
Yeah.
So, like, statistically, you could be like, this guy should make it. But if you watch the games, it's like, that's not good. Plus, on top of that, they're paying Carson Wentz like a NFL minimum. Russell Wilson's getting paid
$40
like
million a year.
like Jeff Bezos is paying him. So, I mean, the dude's got to perform.
And
like,
if
have
you
to
go
perform.
back, if you're a Good Point Bro day one, you will see me and you both say that contract extension was a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Way before he even played.
I mean, for a lot
He
of
already
the year,
had 5 years left on his contract with the Seahawks, and they extended him like 6 years. So now they have him forever till he's retired.
Yeah. I mean, for a lot of last year, he had more bathrooms in his house than touchdown passes.
Yeah.
Like, that was a thing. That was, like, trending on Twitter.
He's a
You know how insane that is?
He's a goofball.
I think he has 12 bathrooms.
He's just a goof. It sucks because what he's really
I think
doing
he's a nice
is
guy.
what he's really he's just probably so unrelatable and like he's probably just.
And I think Sean Payton's overrated too.
But I feel like with Russell Wilson, he's starting to play himself out of the Hall of Fame.
Because the Drew Brees, he never won a Super Bowl. Or did he win
He
one?
won one.
With Sean Payton?
Yeah.
So Sean Payton has one Super Bowl?
But they were the model of consistency. Like they were there every year. And if they get that pass interference during the Super Bowl,
And their division was them, Matt Ryan, and the Falcons. Who else was in there? A trash Titans team. No, they're in the AFC.
They're the AFC.
Tampa Bay, who was probably bad.
Yeah, they were bad.
So, I mean, that division probably wasn't great.
It's Tampa Bay, New
It's-
Orleans.
They,
New Orleans, Tampa Bay. The Panthers are the last.
Yeah,
team.
who
So
had
they had,
the Cam
Newton,
Newton year,
yeah.
I guess, but that was a little bit
15-1.
later.
What a special year. That was a great year of football. You had
Dude, that Super Bowl was
the Broncos.
but that Super Bowl
Super Bowl 50.
was 2016.
Yeah.
When-
Super Bowl
when the
50 was
Broncos won.
2016. Unbelievable.
That
like
year was
it's like-
ridiculous, bro.
It's like everything just came together. But another thing is, remember that game, the Panthers versus the Giants? It was Odell versus, who was that good corner? Josh?
Josh Norman.
Yeah. That was one of the
Yeah,
that was a game of the
Odell
year.
versus Josh Norman.
That was a game of the year. Remember they came back from like 28-0, the Giants
Yeah.
did, and then Odell caught the game-winning.
Yeah, it was in his face.
Oh, it
bro.
was a game-winning touchdown, but then I think the Panthers somehow ended up winning. But
The go-ahead,
Giants-
I guess.
Yeah, it was a go-ahead. But yeah, they were just literally like throwing hands the whole game, talking trash, and then one of the plays, Odell like just straight speared Josh Norman as hard as he could. You do that now. Think about how different the world is since 2016. If you do that now, you're out for the year, don't you think? And I don't even think Odell was suspended or Josh Norman. And Odell ran at him full speed and speared him with his helmet while the play was dead.
Yeah, I remember that. I also remember that same year is when Odell fought the net,
Yeah.
the kicking net,
People were thinking he had like mental issues.
like CTE bad.
Yeah.
He was like AJ Brown, but before
Yeah,
AJ
but-
Brown, and it was like year one AJ Brown,
But
like when AJ Brown
way
first started
less.
getting crazy,
way less.
before he ran off the field at
Before-
Tampa Bay with no shirt.
Yeah. And was like,
I still can't believe that happened, dude. I cannot
and his
believe that.
teammates were begging him. He literally is in his own world.
He took off his jersey.
And then he went on full send right after. Remember? He went on full send because every podcast was trying to get him. And Bob, he always got good guests. And he got Antonio Brown. Oh, you said
What a
AJ
crazy-
Brown. It's Antonio Brown.
Oh yeah. What
But
a crazy
Antonio Brown
time.
went on there like 2 days after. It's crazy.
He took off his jersey.
People
threw
just
it in
taking
the
advantage
stands.
of him. He did a ton of things. He lived in Tom Brady's house, right?
He flashed some girl in a pool.
Didn't he?
Yeah, he lived in Tom Brady's house before when Tom Brady
Yeah.
was trying to get him to come down there and help him win a Super
Yeah.
Bowl.
No, that was after.
Tom Brady, think about this.
Tom Brady will win at all costs.
Yes, Antonio Brown was doing all that crazy
Yeah.
stuff, and Tom Brady was still like, just live in my house,
Yeah.
bro. I just need to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
This dude would do anything for
Yeah.
a ring, bro. No one is more committed
Yeah.
than Tom Brady
And
to
he
a
also took
championship.
major pay cuts, which is something
I mean,
Pat Mahomes
Giselle
might
was
have
like,
to do.
Giselle made more than any NFL
But
player
that might be
anyway.
what Pat Mahomes needs to do if he wants to get some receivers in the house.
If Giselle actually made more than Tom Brady, I hope Tom Brady got half.
Going to Patrick Mahomes, not worry about Giselle right now, but going to Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs, for them to win the AFC, they're going to have to realize their new identity as a team. They're not the team, not the Chiefs team we've seen the past 5 years. They're not going to drop 30 unanswered on you and just completely destroy you. They're going to win through physicality and defense and more conservative play calling. Because you see them, like the game against the Raiders at home when they were doing a bunch of all these trick plays. It was like, what are we doing? Like, you got a top 5 defense.
Yeah, they should have
In the
won that
league.
game, though.
You got
But,
a top 5 defense in the league. Dude, no turnovers and more conservative play
Yeah,
calling.
they have to rely on their defense.
And Pacheco.
They
Pacheco's
have
a beast.
They have a Super Bowl defense. But let me say this.
So they got to play.
So let me ask you this then: what is more likely, the Chiefs make it back to the Super Bowl, or the Eagles make it back to the Super Bowl?
I got the Chiefs just because with the Eagles, I don't see how they win a road game against the 49ers.
That's a tough one.
Like, and they might. The Cowboys control their own destiny. Who do they play this weekend?
They play the Washington Commanders.
Okay, so they're gonna get Cowboys might cowboy, but they probably will get the 1 seed. Or no, they'll probably get the 2 seed. They're gonna win the division. So now the Eagles are gonna be on the road for the whole playoffs. Now you got to play at Cowboys at 49ers.
If you play them, the Cowboys the
Cowboys will play the second.
They
worst
would play.
They'll play the worst wild card.
So
the Cowboys would?
No, the 49ers would play the Eagles first. So the Eagles would have to play most likely Tampa Bay. And then if they beat Tampa Bay at Tampa Bay, they'd have to play at 49ers. And then if the Cowboys ran their side, then they would meet in the NFC Championship game at Dallas.
That's an impossible.
Then if you win that game, you're in the Super Bowl.
Versus
potentially against
Ravens,
whoever.
Chiefs.
Ravens.
I mean, that's an impossible task. That's just an impossible task. They screwed themselves by losing to Arizona.
They've lost five of the last 6 games.
So, I think the Chiefs, they kind of play this. Now, they're better in Arrowhead, but I still got a lot of confidence for them on the road. And their road to the Super Bowl will be way less difficult than
Philadelphia.
Well, it all depends really on Miami and the Bills. Let's just say the Bills lose.
Like, there's a scenario where the Chiefs have to go into Buffalo and then into Baltimore.
Yeah. I still think they have a better chance to win both of those games than the Eagles do going on the road to 49ers and Cowboys. But if the Bills were to lose and be out of the playoffs and they just had to go to Miami, then for sure I'd take the Chiefs.
If the Bills lose and they have to play the Bills, like the Bills still make the playoffs, it would be in Arrowhead.
Yeah.
Because the Chiefs won their division.
Yeah.
And actually, that's probably exactly what happened because, oh, no, the Browns, I think, are the highest wild card.
The Browns are a scary team to play.
Dude, that's another thing.
The Browns are scary. Yeah, we're kind of sleeping on the Browns.
Is the whole nation rooting for Joe Flacco?
I think he could be maybe what what's his face, Nick Foles was on the Eagles in 2017. Because that team was so stacked.
Yeah, but Joe Flacco's a legend.
That team was so – no, I know, but I'm saying obviously he's not what he was.
Yeah.
And Nick Foles was a pretty good starter, and then he was a bench guy.
But think about this.
They came in and lit it up. But hold on. The Browns' defense is number 1 in the league. So Joe Flacco plays half of what he was in his prime. They got a legit shot to win the AFC.
But think about this. Joe Flacco – this is a dream scenario. But Joe Flacco versus Baltimore in Baltimore for the AFC Championship game. Like, I'm not a Ravens fan, but if you're a Ravens fan and you're watching that game and Joe Flacco wins, obviously you're sad that your team loses, but is there not a party that's like, come on, buddy, let's go. Like, go win it. Go win it all.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a bittersweet thing, right?
Yeah. I'm sure him and John Harbaugh have a lot of mutual respect.
But, yeah, if you're not rooting for Joe Flacco, I mean, what are you doing?
I'm rooting for the
everybody
in the back.
Every football fan in the country is rooting for Joe Flacco. So let's see the Browns go on a run. I would have never I would have not been caught dead ever saying the Browns should go on a playoff run. Like there's no situation. But Joe
Taylor
Flacco
Swift
won me
in the
over.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, the Chiefs cannot make the Super Bowl.
You know how much coverage they're going to do of Taylor Swift if they make the Super Bowl?
They can't make the Super Bowl.
It would be amazing. They'll do interviews with Taylor Swift and the Kelsey's mom, like all 4 of them together as one big happy family. It'll be some NBC reporter talking to them for like 3 hours before the game. Everybody's going to be like, they're not going to be talking about anything about the game. They're just going to be having Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce with his mom.
Every touchdown they're going to pan to her just cheering.
Yeah.
She's going to do the halftime performance.
She's probably going to come out on the field.
She's probably going to do the halftime performance.
She's probably going to be out on the field if they win. Think about that. It's going to be all about Taylor Swift.
I can't see Taylor Swift in the Super Bowl. Please. Please lose.
But
all right,
man.
I think we're good. I'm out.
I don't want to win this battle. I'm out of here. Tell these people they don't know about me. Wait. Tell these people something they don't know about me. I got to.
Now I'll take my... Anyway. That's it for episode 76. That's 76. As you guys know, my name's Kate, and that's my little bro Cam.
Don't sleep.
It's been a pleasure. We'll see you in the next one. This one's out for this week's. Next one should be out on same day, I think. So I think every Thursday is what we're looking at for right now. If something changes, we'll let you know. As always, it's been a pleasure. Peace. See you in the next one. Later.